both Tris. All right.
Let's see,
So I'm going to hit
videos.
go live, and it says we're live. Yay! Um. So Tris, if you could just announce that on Twitter and the A Bit of Chiptune server.
Ah, I see it now.
Yeah. Um.
Woo!
Also,
I still
if
don't, but I'm gonna take y'all's word for it.
the two of you who aren't in the server want a server invite, just like let me know because we've got like a whole community.
What
Um.
server?
A Bit of Chiptune server.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
have no idea there was one until like right now.
Yeah.
Like right just now.
Exactly.
Yeah, same.
All right. So we're all together. Uh, you two, everybody know, listening. Yeah, we're just gonna wait for viewers. And while we're waiting for viewers, since everybody knows who we are, I'll introduce myself. I'm Cass. Uh, I founded this group with Tris, and
Hi, I'm Tris.
and yeah, we talk about chip stuff and the music. And I'm really excited for this episode because we have some new peoples. Can y'all introduce yourselves?
I can.
Yeah.
Will you please introduce yourselves?
Of course. I'm Amy. Uh, you might know me. You might know me. After I just made a grammar joke. Might know me from my bad jokes. From just then, from Turnabout Musical. I was one of the actors that was in the stage play. I played Pain, which was a reprisal from the Highlight CD, and Red, White, and the Bailiff. And I helped write it. I helped with a lot of other stuff around it. I'm also from Real Time Fan Dubs. I from like Charlie's version before he closed it up. We are some of us stuck around and are going to do some fun stuff soon. I also do my own streams, and that is about. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm also part of Hormone Replacement Gaming. That's a thing today. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm part of the staff there, and I work with Kay.
That's me. I'm Kay. My pronouns are they, them, for you all to know, if anyone can hear that right now. Um, I'm also part of the HRG staff. And if you've heard of me, you've likely heard of me from my website, justmynarratives.com, where I write stories. A lot of them are fun. If you're interested in horror and if you're interested in like gender and queerness and stuff like that, I have been writing about that with like a especially sharp focus on it more recently.
Sounds rad.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, Amy, I'm like slightly not sure if I can take anything you say seriously now after you said that you're known for making jokes, but thanks. That's
I make
both of
jokes.
those are like really awesome. Yeah. Um, I wish I could write more about LGBT stuff. I've like dipped my fingers in that for like school and stuff, but I haven't done it too much. Um, that's really cool. Anyways, thank you, Tris, for managing things in the background. Um, and hopefully, as people come in, that'll work out. So, right now we have two big topics today, and we might add more.
Wait, we have two? I thought we had one.
Oh, so this hormone replacement gaming, like in general, figuring out what that is, and also like Famistudio, the new software.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, firstly, is it Amy or Ami?
I go by Amy. There was a time where I insisted Ami because it's my namesake, from Sailor Moon. When I was
Hey!
5, she was the first person I really wanted to be when I grew up. When I thought she was a lot older than me, but then again I was 5, so. Uh, but I figure, I grew up with the dub anyway, and honestly, it's easier for people, a lot of people to get. The only people that are gonna start with Ami are pretty much people that grew up with anime anyway, and it kind of felt a little appropriative to insist on the Japanese pronunciation, so Amy it is.
Okay, cool. Secondly, what's your Twitter handle?
Oh, Suezo Beam. for all the 5 people out there that also played Monster Rancher.
How do you spell that?
Here, let me,
Can you just
into the
send it
chat.
in the chat, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Tris. I don't know. I feel like I do a lot in a bit of chiptune. It just warms my heart when like when I get the support. So thank you. I'm just reading some chats in the server. Looks like people are talking about how it's Thursday. It is indeed Thursday, Chip Chat Day. Thank you
It
for
is
sending
Thursday,
your
my
Twiddle
dudes.
Twitter, not twiddle. Ooh, I hear some beep boops.
We just hit, we just hit a
No matter
random
what
battle.
No matter what I do, the audio comes through. I'll just not.
Is the audio not supposed to come through? I thought this was a chiptune chat, and I thought that was part of the show.
Yeah. No, I'm like about 20 minutes into trying to learn this
Ah, okay.
new software right now and don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I
So
got to
that's-
try it out earlier today. I learned a lot. Actually, it was fun. Also Pixel and Musicage are both joining the stream, and K Walker, and yeah.
That's me.
This is
I'm
exciting.
K Walker.
Oh. I should have known. Someone's adding me. Oh no, that was just Tris announcing. Yay! We're gonna get people. So, without further ado, what should we get to first? Pick one.
Musicake made the same joke I did. Yeah, it is Thursday, my dudes.
Now I have to start every chip chat that way. No.
Yes. Stolen meme intro.
If we're gonna steal memes, let's steal the finest. It's Thursday. I can't remember the rest of the song.
Gotta get down on Thursday.
Yeah. God, it's been a while since I heard that song.
Hey, this
Not
is
me.
Oh gosh, Tris. Do you have any school stories for us today?
Yes. Yesterday was an absolute nightmare. 10 kids peed themselves.
Oh no.
It was horrible.
That's cursed.
That is
Yeah.
gross.
I've been working with kids in this age group since like preschool, so understandable. But like before that, I've only had to deal with one kid having an accident during nap. Like yesterday broke the record by literally like 1,000%. So that sucked. But on the bright side, and then there was also I don't remember if I tweeted about it, but one of the people was like misgendering me, so I corrected her on my pronouns, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm like, excuse me, I'm so sorry." And then like she said my name, which my IRL name is Beatrice, so she was like, "Ah, right, Beatrice, you're right," like as if like I don't know, I there was a chance that I wouldn't be correct about my pronouns, which I thought was kind of funny. That was like definitely a first for me. But yeah, yesterday sucked. Today was a lot better.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I think Tris and I are both in HRG.
Oh, you guys are?
Yeah.
I mean, technically.
Well, I don't know. Tris, I mean,
I don't know. There's a lot of people, so I don't
see
know
you around
everybody.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's been a while since
Yeah.
I've been there, but
Speaking of, I didn't really want to do this myself because I'm not staff. Do either of you want to like describe what hormone replacement gaming is, and all that?
Rock, paper, scissors. In this audio medium, we'll play rock, paper, scissors.
Oh gosh.
Hormone replacement gaming.
All right. Oh, I thought we were actually about to do it.
Well, I could just lie.
Yeah, I was about to suggest going second so that I could just say whatever you said and beat you.
Okay. Hormone replacement gaming is an esports league team collective full of trans people, essentially. That's
I
the
think we
summary.
have
Yeah,
I think we have like a Splatoon 2 team right now.
We do.
yeah.
Brad.
I'm part
I
of
haven't
it.
heard anything from
Even
them
though
in a
I'm not like amazing at Splatoon, I was like the most enthusiastic person about it and just like instantly got in. So that happened.
Oh, that was that I did not know that was the bar because otherwise I would have joined. I'm like,
Well,
oh god, there's gonna be like all the elite gamers that play like Rainbow Six on their off time, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to fit in at all. And oh,
yeah.
okay, so all you needed was just gumption,
Well, I mean, I was also like the first person to say anything. Like I
right?
was the first person to be like, "Hey, I want to join," and I also like had all of the gumption. So
The two requirements are owning Splatoon 2 and wanting to play.
nice.
Oh man,
Yeah, I have one of those things.
Yeah, so do I.
I have both of those things, but I just didn't know that was the that filled all the requirements.
I mean, we'd love to have you. I don't know. I don't really speak for like the group. It's hasn't been the most active recently, but
If
you
nothing
know,
else, I'd
hormone
like to
replacement
play.
gaming
I mean,
in
yeah,
general,
I don't
is
care if I'm in tournaments. I just want to play with someone.
yeah. No, let's play. Send me your gamer tag after this. It's going down,
Wow, gamer tag. I have not heard that in a
Ooh.
while.
or whatever it's called.
I
Come
believe
on,
it's called
gamer.
a friend code, TM.
Friend code. Yes, that is such a nicer way to say it.
Yeah, no, but it's just like I haven't had a 360 in like years now, and so
Okay. I don't know what came over me. I'm a Nintendo gal, so
well, you know, I'm mostly Nintendo. I grew up with a SNES.
Same.
yeah. I feel like most of us are pretty Nintendo-esque. I feel like that goes along partially with being chiptune, and it just sort of it definitely has a hormone replacement gaming feel too. Um, like they
Well, I
have a
mean, like
whole like
Birdo
section
is
for champ.
trans. Poison was from what was it? Final Fight or
Yeah.
Street Fighter and Final Fight.
yeah, but
Final Fight first.
originally from Final Fight, and I think that was Nintendo exclusive for a while when it was arcades and Nintendo, as exclusive as
Yeah.
arcade games were. And then we have Luigi, who is definitely more trans these days. Like
Yay.
even Nintendo's hinting at like joking about it, or at least their social media manager is. When like they unveiled the Toadette, I mean not the Toadette, Toadette's princess shroom. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, don't get any ideas, Luigi. And I'm like, "Mm." And then
Oh,
there's like
no.
the several times they keep putting Luigi in
Yeah.
dresses, specifically like princess's dress. Like whenever someone has to pretend to be the
Oh.
princess, it's always Luigi.
I didn't catch
gosh.
that. I thought you were implying that Luigi was a trans man.
No. No, my trans man hands are somewhere else in my mind right now.
Fair.
If you wish to send pictures of Luigi in dresses, I will happily share that with the chat. Or
Like
stream.
it's I know it was at least in Superstar Saga.
Oh, wow, I haven't played that game in so long.
Sorry.
Superstar Saga dress.
And then there's also that character from Paper Mario. I think it's Thousand Year Door.
Vivian.
Yeah, Vivian.
That's her.
Like I feel like she was handled way better than Birdo, who I feel weird calling Birdo because like the Mario 2 manual specifically
Birdo.
says that she prefers to be called Birdetta. Yeah,
Birdetta.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it does.
it does. Yeah.
Oh man.
You
So
know
like
what
we've
we're
all
gonna
been
call
dead naming her.
Birdetta?
Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, that was the translation though. It could have been like
What's your Japanese name?
it could have been Birdo Chan instead of Birdo San or something like that.
Oh,
That's
her
true.
Japanese name is Catherine. We should just call her Catherine.
God, that would finally the least problematic Catherine game.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Dude.
God.
Enjoy.
Anyways,
Zoe.
here's from the original and the remake. Though the original seems to have some sort of markings on it. I'm guessing part of a YouTube Let's Play. I just got the first pictures I saw on Google.
Luigi's neck disappeared in that second image.
Yeah, I think he's doing like an Ojo
He
laugh
gave
there.
it to
Like,
Steven.
Oh my
being-
god!
I think he's being eaten by the
Totally
dress.
is. I wish I could do an Ojo laugh. One of my friends can do it so well.
Yeah, no, I actually practiced that for Red White, and no one else got the joke, so that was awesome. But like, that joke was for me. That was for me.
All jokes should be for yourself.
Oh yeah, just go by the Andy Kaufman school of comedy. All jokes are for yourself and yourself first.
That's why I always make sure to laugh angrily after every joke I make.
Goodness.
Oh.
Luigi's nose is huge in that first picture.
Oh yeah, but that was what was it?
Oh, there's another one.
Game Boy Advanced.
Let
Yeah,
me show that.
I don't know why I blanked on the words Game Boy Advanced.
Sorry, Toaster was gonna say something and I totally
No, I was just laughing.
Oh, cool. Oh, also, now that you're here, I can personally thank you for inspiring me to pick up LSDJ because I have been having so much fun with it.
Great. Yeah.
Is it like GarageBand?
It's like GarageBand from 1989.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That sounds really cool. Yeah, and like I don't know why that was funny because like but I think I have a feeling that my natural ignorance will provide most of the comedy from here on out.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
For the sudden laughter. That
No problem.
No. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Wasn't there like a fake image of like somebody loading GarageBand on a Game Boy Advance or something?
Oh my
like
God.
that?
Yeah. No, there was like FL Studio.
Awesome.
Like,
Game Boy Advance. Oh, good luck. Good luck getting any more than like one bar on one track.
Actually, wasn't there no, that was for the DS, but you used the Game Boy slot for the buttons. I was thinking of didn't they have a Guitar Hero on the Game Boy Advance? Well, no, but that was for the DS, as I explained earlier.
Yeah. Yesterday, actually, on the train, I had my Game Boy out, and some dude like commented on it and was like, "Oh my God, check it
Nice.
out! They have a like
Please
an
rise,
original
train."
Game Boy." And then like, not like 5 minutes later, I bump into a friend from college on the train, and she's like, "Oh, that's a cool phone case," and I was like, "It's no phone case."
Okay, the classic Game Boy is huge though, so how would you mistake that for a phone case?
I don't know. I mean, she
Have
only
you seen
saw
the
like,
iPhone
the
S8
flat part. But...
Plus? Because like I'm holding one in my hand, and it's about the not the width, but it's about the height of the old brick Game Boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's huge
Yeah.
in comparison.
I
That's
like it though.
The more and more you use it, the more that's going to happen to you, and you're going to learn like your quick pitch version of what the hell it is that you are doing with this,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to immediately explain that you're not playing a game.
Yeah, basically.
So it's not a problem, or something I like. I don't know. I made it kind of sound like it was something I disliked happening, but it's something I actually like happening because I'm
Yeah, same.
good at explaining it and getting people interested in it.
Oh. Yeah, the interaction was just like, no, it's a real Game Boy. Oh, what are you playing? I'm actually making music with it. What? How? Oh, you know, this thing. And then I had to leave.
Oh, were you using no, that would have been Game Boy Color if you're gonna use Super Mario Deluxe. So what were you using
LSDJ.
on the original game? Oh, because it's an old program. Of course, Amy. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I just have like what is it, an EverDrive? And I load up the ROM on LSDJ. Or I load up the LSDJ ROM onto it and then play it on my.
Yeah, I've got a classic Game Boy as well, and like, I played on a Game Boy Color for years before ever actually seeing a real Game Boy. So like, noticing how huge the Game Boy was, I was like, wow, okay, This is a console.
Right? That the way you said that just made me think of Pinocchio. It's like, I'm a real boy.
But it lasts for like a month and a half on batteries.
Yeah, honestly, like
For
I've been
who?
using it pretty consistently for the last few weeks, and like I haven't even noticed a dent in the battery. Like the light doesn't dim it.
There you go. I was just looking for it. So apparently, LSDJ Alpha debuted in July 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
This is why
Thank you, Laz.
the dude who makes it is absolutely a patron saint of chiptune, because he's been like actively developing this thing for 19 years.
Oh my god, it's going
By
on
himself.
20 years.
He's like employee of the decade for chiptune.
That's like some like Temple OS devotion right there.
Yeah. But without the crazy with
Or of course.
being with actually just being a chill dude.
Yep.
Yeah. When I bought my copy, he was like super cool about it. By the way, go buy LSDJ. It's literally like $2, and
Oh,
you
what?
can make chip music.
Spend
Oh.
more money. Give him $5. Give him $10.
True.
I
Yeah,
should get
give as much as you can.
I should
Pay
get
him $1
LSDJ
every
now.
month.
So wait, so what can I put this on other than my computer and apparently a Game Boy cartridge?
You can emulate a Game Boy on your phone. I did that for a little while. I don't super recommend it, but basically anything that you can get to run like a Game Boy emulator, you can use LSDJ.
Raspberry Pi is pretty solid for it these days.
What
What?
about RetroArch?
Oh,
RetroArch works with it.
you're naming
All right, cool. Because I have
emulators,
it
aren't you?
on
Okay.
a system of some sort that may or may not be internet capable, that I'm not naming, and it's been pretty good. So I'll go look for it.
You both have been surprisingly like well adjusted considering the lack of interaction with a bit of chiptune. Like before this, did you really know what chiptune was, or?
Yeah, I knew it. Well,
Okay,
actually,
cool.
I thought chiptune was just a genre, and not an actual program. Like the program. Apparently now it's a program, chiptune.
I mean, I would say that it's. I mean, there are programs that you can use to create chiptune. So I wouldn't say it's like a. I would say that it's more like a genre or like a class of instruments, maybe, depending on.
Way of life.
Yeah, that's a third way to say it.
The best way to describe it is a medium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar to like how, just like when you say painting, just even like oil paints, like you can imply a lot of what somebody might do with oil paints, but that doesn't really tell you like what style of art that they do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Toaster pastries here with the wisdom.
So, like, when I say like Mario Paint would be a medium, and I say this like very seriously. Like, so Mario Paint would also be a medium, like chiptune, like which is a. But is it like is it like its own program like MS Paint?
That counts as I mean making stuff with Mario Paint is absolutely chiptune. It's just like one of the most pain in the ass ways to do it.
Ah, okay.
It really is.
So people developed, people started prototyping their own ROMs to try to see what kind of sound they could make for it, and figured out all of the sound registers and all of this crazy stuff. And
so it's not just like a single program; it's just like it's anything that uses this sort of like set of tools.
Kinda.
Yeah, the idea is to like roughly abide by this like limitation factor,
Right.
the ideal of old hardware. Although it's like you can kind of just use whatever tools you want at this point.
Oh, that reminds me. There was this this is a Super Nintendo game that's like super obscure. I forget what its name is, but it was inspired or written with some prog rock band. and they couldn't get enough instruments onto the thing, so they used sound effects in the game to emulate more instruments.
That's really good.
That is pretty dope.
I could have swore this was from RTF, so prog. Okay, that did not work. Rock, maybe that will work.
While you're
Whenever-
searching, one of my favorite ways of describing chiptune is like, any kind of music that either features or is inspired by the sounds that like video game hardware can make. So sort of like pre pre just like being able to load in like .wav files or .mp3 files, or like having an orchestra in your game, like anything before that era. So like I would say like even up to like Nintendo 64 counts, because of the way like the limitations with sampling.
Kinda.
Yeah. But anything before that, like some music that uses those hardware, or like uses that hardware or is inspired by that sound, and sort of embraces that like limitation. But like it's not a specific aesthetic, because you can have like chiptune EDM, you can have chiptune like pop or rock or rap or
The heaviest
ska.
metal you've ever heard in your
Yeah,
life.
honestly, chiptune metal is my jam.
You
It's
said
what I
chiptune
aspire
rap,
to
and I
do.
started to get like a little hot and bothered.
Chip hop.
Here it is.
Crush
here
your
it is.
voice and say, I said a chip hop, a chippity hop, a doo hop.
Oh my god. Okay, now I have to rewrite the entire thing of Rapper's Delight, but to be about chiptune. That that song is like 15 minutes long too.
I never actually,
Just you and I.
Yeah.
I
Oh
never
my
got
God.
super into chiptune, because when I tried to look into it, I wanted to listen to stuff that like recreated and like the actual like NES and SNES stuff.
Yeah.
SNES stuff. And I wasn't able to like easily find artists that did that through the channels in which I searched, and I was lazy and just never looked again.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, okay, so I really enjoy working with those two in particular. I think it really just like depends on who you look for, because chiptune is such like a vague umbrella term.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could definitely like recommend some people to you later on if you'd like. But yeah, I totally get why that happened.
Yeah,
So
as
yeah.
I looked for like Pandora, and like they recommended Amanaguchi at first, and like they're good
Yeah.
and enjoyable, but they're definitely not like me being like, I wonder if somebody's like made chiptune like the old Castlevania music. I'd love that, and then not finding that.
Right, I see what you mean.
You've come to the right place, my friend.
Oh ho!
It
Yeah.
took a long time for it to really broaden out and just get more people doing it who were doing different things, and for it to like cross over with video game music even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think one thing that like I think searching specifically for chiptune is a good way to find it, because like I think nowadays a lot of chiptune artists will like tag their stuff with that. But like one of the things that I had trouble with early on was like, oh, I wonder if there's like an 8-bit version of this, and like it's all what we kind of, or like what some people refer to as like fake bit, where like they just slap a MIDI file into like something, and like
Happy
it's just
Vinyasa.
it's
so
not.
they just
yeah.
literally crush a file and call it a day.
I think I've heard of
Yeah,
Happy
or like
Vinyasa.
they'll take a MIDI file and like put like quote unquote 8-bit things, and it's just like a bunch of square waves and stuff, and like it kind of has the vague appearance of chiptune, but it is definitely not what I would consider chiptune.
So I can't find the conversation, but I can find the game because I remember what the cover looked like, and it's called Pluck. And
Oh, I know about Pluck.
and it's the composer was Tim Fallon on that game,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
you cited progressive rock as well as many musicians. This is quoting from the Wikipedia page, including Quincy Jones, Jethro Tull, Led Zeppelin, and John Martin, as having some casual or subconscious influence on his music. End quote. So I don't know much about this, other than I've been meaning to at least listen to the soundtracks. But apparently, Pluck uses uses sound effects, and I can't remember what. I think DuckTales, the original NES game, did something special with the drums. Um, Gosh, there's so much of what that's like I can half remember, but I can't fully remember. Yeah, go ahead.
Tim Fallon is considered hugely influential on this entire thing. A lot of the original video game composers who figured out all of these amazing tricks, like, completely influenced like the whole base of this thing. Of everybody who was like influenced this from the start, like played these games and realized along the way of how crazy awesome the music is. And wanted to be able to do the same. So like Tim Fallon especially, like that name comes up a lot as just a cornerstone of influence in the whole sound of this thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in the background that doesn't get a lot of appreciation. There's a lot of I call it quarterbacking, when people just hold up the main dev, and they're like maybe a producer or two, and they'll be like,
yeah.
and they're like, oh yeah, this is but there's a lot of work that goes unappreciated. It's not like the quarterback, the main dev isn't important. I would never say that, but there are a lot of people that don't go appreciated.
Unsung heroes.
Like Akira Yamaoka, who basically made Silent Hill what it is. I don't think that series would have been half the games that they were without his composition.
Yeah, I know that there was somebody on the Metal Gear Solid team who got constantly snuffed despite their contributions, but I can't remember their name. Yeah, snuffed. It basically means it just like
killed.
Okay, not that intense.
Snub, like with a B.
Snub. It's like synonyms.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Snug with a G.
Yeah.
They got snugged for being on the Metal Gear Solid team. Correct.
I love that.
In fact, Hideo Kojima himself cuddled them after the release of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
I made that up.
If only.
But the weird part of that is it does not sound out of character, because he's just such a ostentatious figure.
If that had been said about the developer and the director for the Nier games, I would believe it more than Hideo Kojima.
Oh, speaking of, didn't I see one of y'all post a picture of like an NES hooked up to a TV, and it was like this other device for chiptune?
That was probably Cass.
Wait, when did I put that up?
In the chat, there's one of a Game Boy Advanced.
Oh, that's
SP.
a fake image.
No. I'm talking about in I think it's in the hideout.
Oh, yeah, that was me. I got an NES in the mail, and I've been trying to get that to work.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Long story short, I think Toaster Pastries, he basically said to just like keep trying, but like I got it and I was trying to like get it to work, but I kept getting that horrible blinking light, which if you don't know means that I can't read the cartridge. So, I cleaned it up, I got a lot of dirt out, and it worked for like 30 seconds, and then it didn't.
Okay.
I got the blinking light again.
In case you're interested, I actually did a show that was basically that. I hooked up my NES to a TV and to my mixer, and I played guitar and sang over it. So if you want to see Chiptune live, you can do that.
Tressa's video is amazing.
I mean, I'm willing to try things. And by that I mean I'm willing to try things by putting them into a giant, massive backlog of things that I said I would have be willing to try. And I've not tried.
I appreciate your honesty.
That feeling is too real.
Yeah. Also, I can second the recommendation for Master Boot Record. It is A plus.
Mhm.
They are A plus.
Is that a label?
I think it's like an artist or a band.
Okay, it did sound like a full on label.
Let me see. Where does it have the description?
Danimal Cannon is another like well-known chiptune.
Chiptune shredder.
If I go dig
Yeah.
around my...
Master Boot Record identifies as a 486DX 33 megahertz 64 megabytes processor processing avant-garde chiptune synthesized heavy metal and classic symphonic music.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you know what? I y'all should just recommend music to me because I should be listening to more chiptune.
Y'all,
Please send
but
me your stuff.
Just okay. This might be a little bit of a philosophical question,
Okay.
but because like a lot of chiptune includes a lot of stuff from like old disk drive stuff, where you'd get a lot of, system noises like but does like disk drive stuff
like glitchy
also
noise?
No, I'm talking about like sounds from the system itself,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
sounds and the mechanics. So does like disk drive versions of songs count as part of chiptune as a medium?
I've never been asked this question before.
That's a great question.
Wait, so sorry, I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
Okay, let me link you to a video. You may or may not want to, for copyright reasons, put it on the air. But for the audience, it's the Doctor Who theme, and it's played on 8 floppy drives.
Oh.
And what this person has done is programmed a bunch of disk drives to basically turn their little grinds into the full song from Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
yeah.
So like there's a lot of things from like the Amiga, the Commodore 64, the Compy, and things earlier than that. Like when back in the old text games where things going up on a screen, you'd hear almost as if someone
like
just
startup sounds and whatnot.
What?
Like startup sounds.
But this would be like for every new screen of text.
Oh yeah.
Like
I see what
the
you mean.
sound of like the computer like trying
Yeah.
stuff.
But like sometimes people would incorporate that into like different amounts of different songs. So if it's included in that, or if people find like that part of the old machines that are attached to the chiptune machines part of the music, is it also part of the genre? And part of the medium?
So I've heard this before. I'm gonna take a stab, but please, y'all are more qualified than I am.
Well, I mean, take a stab at it any way you want. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to be offended.
Oh yeah, true. I've seen this before, and like I sort of like consider my thoughts were kind of like, oh, this is kind of like chiptune. And I also like if the person who made it was like, hey, this is chiptune, I wouldn't argue with them. I'd just be like, yeah, sure. Like, I think that would be totally valid assertion. I'm pretty sure that like a lot of chip music comes from like are inspired by the actual like sound chip as opposed to like the system itself necessarily. So those are my thoughts. I'd be like, sure.
It
I don't know.
it's kind of both. Where it's like this is like hardware hacking.
Mhm.
Like you can do this kind of thing with a hard drive motor. Like if you can really just apply a direct voltage of the audio signal just amplified to the motors, and it's kind of just taking over the motors and using them as a percussion device.
Okay.
Like
Or
with
like an
a direct,
oscillator.
yeah, you're really like directly taking over, just sending voltage to the motor. And so like chip hardware hacking is definitely like a part of chiptune
Mhm.
and how it's done.
High chiptune energy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the line is definitely blurry there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like at the very least, like the floppy drive remixes or whatever you want to call or arrangements, like at the very least they're in the spirit of chiptune.
Mhm.
But I think like when somebody says chiptune, they probably wouldn't immediately think of this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's true.
like I think it
And
definitely fits under the umbrella.
the only reason I do think about it is like when I hit like with an example of stuff I've run into, like, oh, I forgot to get the timestamp. Whoops, let me get the timestamp this time so you all know what I'm talking at. This old Homestar Runner thing with the President's Quest trailer, where they would have like gosh, the system sounds that the system was making as part of the song that they're doing, where in like the part where you're going Trogdor, it's just and obviously the video makes it sound better than I do. I'm no Michael Winslow.
Mhm. I mean, if we can make the sounds with our mouths, then we
Can I
won't need
sample
to-
that sound?
Well, you have my permission.
I think it would sound great.
You can export the MP3 from this video after we're done. That said, we're about 15 minutes or more or less, a little less in the stream. Do we want to move on to Famistudio?
Oh, I mean, I'm okay for it.
I was low-key waiting for that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry for taking up so much time.
Not at all.
No,
It's I mean we chatted about chips and we're going to do some more. So there's yeah. Please don't.
That
You know
ship
what's-
is sailed.
The puns will never end.
People who are interested and curious about chiptune are always fun and always welcome.
Big agree.
Absolutely.
Well, don't worry, I have a million stupid questions.
I can only answer about 18.
You are useless to me.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I can make an attempt
if
at all
you
of
have,
them.
yeah, I also don't have the time to answer a million questions, but I'll do my best.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Do you have
But
any more?
let's go
before we
on to
move
Famistudio.
Okay. You can ask them
I
along
can
the way.
answer all 1 million of these questions with a single answer. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Do it.
Agreed.
all right. My life has been fulfilled. Bye, everybody. No.
All right, how are we gonna do this? First, I'm just sort of curious. So, for context, Famistudio is, and I'm definitely going to pull it up and like do some music with it later. But essentially, it's a little DAW created by, I believe, their name is, or their profile is NES Blue Blue. Who couldn't make it for the stream, unfortunately. They're on a trip. But either way, their spirit is here via the digital
Yes.
medium that is Famistudio. And it's essentially, I guess I'd say it's like Famitracker, aka a software that can run NES stuff that you can compose for the NES on. But it's formatted in a way that's very much like a modern digital audio workspace, just like, for example, FL Studio. Just for the context, those of you who don't know, please look up Famistudio. It's really cool. You might want to download it. it's very, very bare bones at the moment, but I do have high hopes. Before anything else, Tristan Toaster, do you have thoughts, strong thoughts?
Um,
I sorry, what?
Nothing. I've been like reading the wiki this whole time and trying to like get oriented with this. I had just kind of just from talking earlier didn't really get too far. I, from what it looks like on the page, the wiki, like this comes across as very solid piano roll, like familiarity with FL Studio will just translate directly over.
Mm-hmm.
There's aspects of it that still seem very like a little bit obtuse, not exactly easy to like understand what the visual indicators are, but I think that that's just stuff that'll get smoothed out over time.
Yeah, I haven't unfortunately I haven't had a time to actually like download it yet, but um just the fact that it exists is really exciting, and it's like open source, so I'm sure it's just going to get better and better. Um like I think it'll really help to make chiptune music, especially like chiptune for like NES, way more accessible to people who are interested, but maybe don't want to spend the time to learn a tracker, or people
Yeah.
who like already produce music and are familiar with like modern DAWs, um, who want to incorporate chip music into like their style, or like dip their toes into it and see like if they like it. Um, so I think I'm just super excited, and I think it's like a really good thing, and I hope it continues to like grow and develop.
Yeah, big agree. Even if like the dev who just released it doesn't work on it, which I get the sense that they will. Um, I'm sure that enough people are excited about it right now that like somebody's gonna dive in. If nobody else, I'm gonna be taking computer science, and if nobody does anything, I'm gonna go. um, that's gonna be
Do
my
it.
project.
That's the spirit.
Uh, but just big agree. I feel like that makes it so much more accessible. I know so many people, especially on the BIT of Chiptune server, who are like, I really want to make good NES chiptune, but I'm just so lost with Defo Mask and Famitracker. um,
So
and it's just
how cheap is it?
it's free. It's free and it's open source.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Neat.
Link me.
Uh, absolutely. The link is on its way.
Yay.
Blue
Sorry to
blue.
interrupt. I just didn't. I just wanted to. When we were talking about accessibility, I was like, well, how accessible is it in price?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's super accessible in price and well, I don't know if it's super accessible in practice, but it's way more accessible than uh what we have available, or at least it has the opportunity to be a lot more accessible
Well,
than
let's
a
see how
lot of the
Complete
tools
Idiot
that are
does it. I'll
available.
tell you how it works out.
Yeah, and one thing to touch on also is like to get started, chiptune is, I think, extremely accessible in terms of cost. Like um Famitracker's also open source and free. I think there's a trial version of LSDJ. But like even if you want the full version, like I believe the asking price is like $2.
Yeah.
Um
I'm like,
so
I
like
will buy anyone LSDJ that wants to
yeah,
actually.
yeah, like honestly, like it only gets expensive if you want to run on like actual hardware, because it's getting kind of rare, because these are like 30-year-old bits of hardware. um but like
Y'all ever, like case in point, y'all ever spent $200 on a custom like Game Boy with a Pop Tart painted on the top of it? Like I have.
yeah, honestly, like I dropped quite a lot of money on my
That's a little
NES
too
and
on brand
my
for
EverDrive.
Oh, dang! This
um
is real easy. Like
yeah, but like
it took me literally like a few seconds just to figure out how to play notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, um, I I feel like the chiptune community is really good about making things accessible and like kind of having like if you're interested, we're more than happy to teach you and like point you in the right direction, and like there's lots of tools to use. So I think like chiptune is a very acceptable, accessible like community to be in, and like skill to learn.
I'd hope
Yeah,
chiptune
like
was an
right now I can
acceptable
see like
community.
C4 to C3, and that's like a full octave if I remember my music notation right.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's a do re mi fa so la di do. There we go. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is so. This is the endorsement from Amy here. I learned how to do the absolute bare basics in a few seconds, and I've never done this before.
Um.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm?
Can you actually import Famitracker songs? I think you can.
I think you can. It's, but I don't know. I wish we had the dev here. Um, but I did see something like that, and that excited me. I'm not sure if it goes the other way or not. It might. I feel like that would make a little bit more sense, honestly, because from what I can tell, um, Famistudio is not very effects based, unlike Famitracker. It's very instrument based. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, so I'm kind of messing with it now. Um, I don't think you can save as a text file, but you can import text files, which means if you have a song, actually, I'm going to try that right now. But like, if you have a Famitracker file and you export the text, then you should be able to open it here. I don't know how well that function works, but you can also save as Famitone 2, which I believe is a VST. Um,
Oh.
so that is also
Oh,
really exciting.
that sounds so cool. Wait, you can save it. Oh, so it exports as basically like a MIDI file for a VST? Wait, is that how it works?
I don't know.
Whoa.
I'm not sure what Famitone 2 is, but I know it's
Yeah, we
mentioned on
should
the
look into that before we like what's this? Because we don't know what's this. So I could share my screen, which doesn't have a lot on it yet, or we could share someone else's screen. um,
We can
does
share my
anybody?
screen.
Oh,
I
I'm
just
just
closed it
talking
and
about.
restarted it.
I'm just talking about who's gonna show off the Famistudio.
I'll do it.
Maybe I should. Oh, you'll do it. Who?
Yeah, well, it'll help because the only reason I suggest it for me is because I am the newbie here, and like me fumbling around with it might be helpful for people who are complete amateurs like me.
Oh yeah. Okay. I guess you could
But
take
you
some
but
time with it, and then maybe I
you
can
make the
take some time with
all
it.
right. Yeah, actually, you go first. If anything else, I don't know.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
Whatever
like
you
I've
want.
taken up a lot of time just talking myself, so you go ahead and do it.
Doop doop. Let's see if I
Tris,
can.
you should work on exporting and like seeing if you can open an existing file in this while Cass
Yeah, you should do that.
shows us some
Let's see if I can
navigation here.
share my
Okay, cool.
screen.
I think I have an FTM somewhere on my computer.
Share.
Or rather, this computer, because I
Doop
know I
doop doop
have
doop.
plenty.
All right. Let's see. Family learning. So
The only ones I have are old Fear of Dark ones, which are just
Ooh.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Fear of Dark makes some gnarly stuff.
let's see. So I basically just did some fun Undertale stuff, just to like figure out how it works. Which was the battle against the true hero, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I recognize it
Nice.
instantly.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh wow, that's good.
So I was just having some fun with the different things that you could do. What happened to my pattern from before? I had a pattern with a bunch of cool triangle stuff. It had like a whole sidechain thing going on. Anyways, not that you can actually sidechain with a triangle wave. Sorry, a lot of NES lingo mixed with music producer lingo. So I'm just gonna start a new song thing. All right, so from what I'm aware, this is very based off of the developer wanted to have a sort of setup like a left click to create and then right click to delete. So that is sort of incorporated into everything here. So if I right click, I can create a pattern, and then if I click on the pattern, I can put in notes. So let's say I have the square thing here. One thing I would like is that if you could like input a note and you know which note you're putting down, because I feel like if you could just hear it.
Yeah, because if you go to the left, you can do that.
Yeah, like a pre-listen for each note.
Yeah, I feel like that would be really helpful because it's difficult to tell without hitting Alt and then scrolling. Oh yeah, if you hit Alt and then you drag, it moves screen stuff around. Just for those of you who are curious and
I'm
have
holding
not
Alt.
figured that out
Wait,
yet.
is it left Alt or right Alt?
I'm doing left Alt. I don't know if it matters.
It doesn't matter. No.
It's not moving the keyboard.
Oh, it's not the so you hit Alt and then you click something on the screen and then you just use your mouse to drag stuff around.
Hey,
Oh, now I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was doing it directly on the keyboard itself.
we should check how the YouTube channel looks, because on the preview here it keeps jumping around.
The
Oh.
YouTube
Yeah,
live stream
we are
looks
not
good.
live. All right, no wait, I wasn't live. Now I'm live.
Oh, does the live stream look okay or no?
Yeah, it's 4 people are watching now, inclusive of me.
Okay. So yeah, we've got that. I already have some different instruments up. I made a triangle tom. Enjoy the sound of that. Let me go to the triangle thing. Open
Triangle
this
tom.
up.
That's a good name.
Yeah. Wait, how? What? Let's see. Can I just play it? Yeah. Just hit the thing. I had to do that with the arpeggio, which is a little different from how you do it in Famitracker. I couldn't figure out if there was a way to just like manipulate the pitch constantly. I don't think there is yet. Then I also have this Pluck Arp. So it appears that for instruments you have the 4 things. You can edit the volume arp. So, sorry, volume. You can't do that with triangle. So that was like a pluck sort of volume arp. And then you can manipulate the what's it called? I guess the pitch. You can kind of pitch bend like slightly, or detune is what I'm trying to say. And I did that, for example, with the pluck layer against the Pluck Arp. That was like the main one, in order for them to be like slightly detuned against each other and get that reverb feel.
When you say that, do you mean it's like the like when the guitarist picks up the string while they're playing a note?
Kinda.
Bending.
Yeah, but pitch bending, or not necessarily. Yeah, I did that with the wobble one. So let me find the wobble instrument.
Sorry, that came out way more aggressive than I intended. My brain was
it's
just
okay.
trying to do too many things at once.
So I'm gonna go to the blank one, which doesn't have any wobble on it. It sounds like that. And then if I go to the wobble one, which has some pitch shifting stuff and looping things on it, it has the vibrations. Anyways, I had some fun with different things. The only thing that I would like to have concerning this is, I think primarily I would really like for the, what's it called? The duty cycle on the last one, which affects the timbre. I'd like, sorry.
I tried not to. I tried not to.
I would like I would like to be able to create an envelope for the duty cycle.
You can't? Oh no.
Yeah, currently you can, for an instrument, you basically choose a duty cycle.
Oh right.
And that's it. And yeah, you just can't. Another thing I would like to be able to do is have a release button, because in Famitracker you have a release which causes it to complete an action at a certain point, just at your choice. But this thing doesn't have that. Instead, you have to create a new instrument that serves as a release for the instrument before it. So that's two things. The third thing I would really like to have, because this is so instrument based, on the bottom here, if you see, it would be really nice to have numbers here, just on the lower. Especially, I feel like it makes no sense to not have that in things like the volume, where it can't even go under. And the reason I really want that is because, or at least just like an indicator of how many pieces of the envelope you have up, like Famitracker does. And the reason I say that is just because when you're working with instruments and you're thinking of the song speed, and you have a mathematical brain like me, you can do a lot of really cool tricks with the envelope in order for the instrument to match the tempo in a way that just makes things a lot easier. And that's something I do with Famitracker a lot. And it's something that I'm going to have to do a lot with this if there's no release, and there's like there's a few other things that are a little bit weird about this that I'll touch on later, but I do love it. But long story short, it'd be nice to have like number indicators to show how long the envelope is and where different checkpoints on the envelope is, because that would help with syncing with the tempo and just general math when you're composing with instruments and trying to make things easier for yourself. Weird thing that's going on here, but I kind of appreciate it because it sort of encourages you to take the NES to its limit, which is nice. So most piano rolls, the MIDI, and I think this also like negatively affects the way that you import MIDI, but you can fix that in post, because I saw a note about how MIDI just isn't really working and it goes on forever. When you input a note, it sort of just goes on forever. Like as long as time. And then you have to, like Famitracker, but not like most piano roll plugins, and this is a piano roll DAW, you have to specifically tell it to stop. It also has a thing, so if you like put another note on top of it, ahead of it, it creates like, it interrupts it and creates the new note. Sorry, this is this is an incredibly visible thing.
Hello?
Hello? Oh, okay, something happened with Kay maybe? Okay, cool.
No, I'm good.
Oh,
I'm here.
my bad.
Great.
I'm
I
alive.
muted
Don't worry.
myself accidentally.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to do it like through the chat, trying not to interrupt. You know, like, hey, is okay? And I didn't mean to make the joke.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
It'll
I'm
never
just
end.
chilling out. I'm trying to keep up with like what's going on a little bit,
yeah,
and also like watch the chat on the YouTube.
that's cool. So that's a lot of things. One thing, this is just if I were to make it, I don't really expect this to be in it, but one thing that I would think would be really cool is kind of like how if you have an art workspace and you have different like layers where things can overlap with one another. I think it would be cool in this format to have like different layers of square, and then the pattern that's on top takes priority. So for example, if you're trying to work with your triangle and you're trying to alternate between toms and notes, you could have one layer on top that has all the toms, and then the layer on bottom is just the simple bass line, and then the toms like interrupt the bass line under it when they overlap. So
you think it would just like have priority or like voice exchange?
Yeah, so I think personally, especially since you have to physically tell the notes to stop, so it takes me like a while to actually like layer lots of different complicated things on top of each other. I think because of that would suit this very well. Although it's never really been done before to my knowledge in audio software, so maybe I should like say that to the dev, instead of just being like, hey, this isn't in there. because it's not exactly a common idea. But yeah, I think this is really cool. I
You could
was
even call it like a Z order.
a Z order? Yeah, I guess.
Zorder.
Beat me to it.
Like if the parameter for just deciding which one was priority to hit was defined as like Z, that would.
How do you change the volume of an instrument? I'm having trouble with.
I don't even know how you get the other instruments.
Yeah,
So.
so the thing is, like I said, so there aren't, as far as I can tell, the only effects, if you look on my screen, are jump, skip, and speed. So speed, you can adjust the speed at which is playing. Skip allows you to like skip a section, and then jump allows you to like go back in the loop somewhere if you don't want it to start at the intro and you want it to start at like say the first verse. So those are the only effects currently in there are time-based. There don't seem to be any effects that are based off of, say, volume or something that you would be able to do with the envelopes. And I don't know if that's going to be added in later. I feel like just as it is now, Famistudio is incredibly instrument-based. And that's not really something I mind. I feel like that's something you can work around, but it would be really cool to like be able to throw effects in there also.
So when you say an envelope, what's an envelope?
Right. So an envelope envelopes are kind of different in general music theory than in sound design than chiptune sound design, I think. But anyways, an envelope is basically like, do you know how are you aware of like attack, sustain, and like delay and release and all that stuff? When
Here it comes.
So like
Like-
in music notation, is it like playing up to a refrain?
No.
I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. It's sort of like how so let's say for a piano or a guitar, the envelope starts off like at a really high volume and then bends down so that it's like really quiet directly after the note is hit. Whereas with say like a violin, the envelope starts really quiet and then it gets louder because the sound kind of like fades in.
So it's changing the volume.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, sort of
Uh,
like what a glissando would be, but just for instead of going from one note to another, it's the same note at different volumes.
at the same note
It's-
at different times.
It's like a way of describing how a sound changes over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh
like,
yeah, I was specifically
I have a
describing
very
a
high
volume
school-
envelope, wasn't I? Oops.
Yeah. No, I have a very high school understanding of, not even a good high school understanding. Like I was not good at musical notation. But with when it comes to musical notation, and that's where I'm going to be drawing a lot of my
There we go.
a lot of my comparisons from, because it is an experience that is somewhat analogous to what's going on.
It is.
So
Yeah,
it's
I have a question real fast.
Mhm.
all right.
So you mentioned earlier that you can't control volume on the instruments. Are you able to control the dynamics of sounds like on an actual NES chip, the hardware for that?
Yes.
Yes, although I would
Okay.
like to say that you might have misinterpreted what I meant. So you can change the volume on instruments, but so in a lot of software, the volume has an envelope which sort of says that like its signature, the way that it like rises and falls in volume. But then on top of it, you're also able to adjust the volume of the instrument like as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
In this software, I haven't been able to find something like that. It looks like you can mostly just edit like the volume envelope of the instrument itself.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
but maybe I'm
Thank you.
missing something.
Yeah, there's always a chance that we'll just like find something later.
Yeah, and of course, there's always a chance that this will be updated in a way that like makes this entire conversation like obsolete.
Yeah, it's only in the 1.0 version.
Uh-huh. But yeah. So if you look at some of the, maybe I shouldn't. I follow Dank Maths, aka Senpai, so maybe I shouldn't go on Twitter looking for the. Yeah, we might get some not safe for work content by accident there. So I'm not gonna test it. Senpai is the reason I don't check Twitter in public. Okay. But yeah, essentially, like, it seems like, and I did this for the, and we can move on to like someone else soon. I'm just like trying to show because I'm the one who's like, no, I don't need to save changes. Okay.
You got a wrapped audience as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah. And the rest of us are kind of I'm just like flipping through the wiki trying to figure out how to do it.
So,
How to do stuff.
I haven't read the wiki. I just did a lot of experimenting, and I saw a little video which was kind of helpful.
Yeah, I haven't had
I
a
don't
chance
think
to watch the video
the
yet.
dev did an amazing job of explaining things, but it definitely like helped out with the different like controls. And let me get started. So
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that like we all kind of have different ways of learning new things. Like, I like that Toaster, you just went straight for the wiki. I feel like that's a very LSDJ way of doing
Dude.
things because like if you don't read the LSDJ manual, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
And like
that's a different Undertale song.
Yeah.
True.
It
Yeah,
is a
and I
life.
think like I'm much more hands-on, but I feel like watching the video and or reading the wiki would be very helpful, and I will do that soon.
mhm.
I have kind of just developed a habit.
As far
that kind
as for me it was honestly just like I wasn't able to really find like a really amazing like text info thing that would like show me how to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Also, I'm like trying to learn things really fast, and having the video on one side and having the DAW on the other just sort of was like the fastest way to do
Yeah.
this before the stream.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet. That would probably like help me have gotten a lot further by now.
Same here. I've not been like there was when I was trying out the thing myself. My eyes weren't on the screen that's being shown right now. So I'm like, yay, I can play the note, and then I finally come up onto here, and I can see like all these fancy notes, different instruments, and all these functions that I'm like, oh yeah, there's so much more things you can do.
Best part
So
is colors.
I did want to describe just like a difference
Yeah.
that I noticed. I really love that this is so colorful. I really, anyways. So the difference that I noticed between this and like what I noticed in Famitracker also was that usually with instruments you have like one instrument and then you apply effects onto it, but since you can't really apply like, for example, the wobble effect, I was forced to basically create a second instrument that was nearly identical to the first, but with the wobble on top of it. So I think until or unless they add some sort of release function, then people who are producing music with this thing are just going to be forced to basically take control of their effects by creating instruments that match the instrument that was already playing. So for example, instead of just like putting a 400 command, I had to like create this green thing, which is the same as the normal triangle, but with the wobble. So like in this part it wobbles. Usually it would just be like a little effect or whatever, but it's a whole new instrument. And I saw that in all of the demos also when I saw like the dev posting a sample music track on Twitter and I saw the video. I noticed that there are like all these different instruments like layered on top of each other creating the same note. So definitely like a different kind of workflow, but I feel like I could really get used to this, and that makes me really happy because it means that people who don't know Famitracker can like learn how to do this faster.
I learned how to do stuff. I mean, not everything, and I've not as much as you because you're used to like the previous stuff. But someone who has zero experience with this, learned how to do some basic things, and I think that should be an endorsement from just me, but like, so it's like an endorsement from a complete idiot and an endorsement from you, who like, so it's like if I can do it, you can do it, and if you're looking for something like that's got all the bells and whistles, the things that you're looking for, the things an expert would look for, Cass has given that nod and go ahead with only like what was it, 3 caveats?
Yeah, something like that.
Which
It
are
was
all
more
down.
like it wasn't even like caveats that like, oh, this is bad. It was all caveats like, hey, if this thing were added, I could do a
Right. I
lot
didn't mean to
more
make
with
it
this,
sound
like a lot faster. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just adding on to what you already said. So it's exciting. Um,
Especially for being so brand.
so, Tris, you have to head out soon?
I do, unfortunately. This has been so fun, though.
Yeah. I think we should maybe close it off here, unless someone has something cool on Famistudio to like show us.
I have
like
nothing.
one. I have like one arpeggio that goes like.
If you would like to share your screen.
No, that's all I have plugged.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll be
Well, I
sure to
do
make
have
something
some
later.
news.
Yeah.
So there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is you can import Famitracker text files.
Oh, what's the
The
bad
bad news is it doesn't seem to work with OCC text files.
Oh.
And bad news part 2 is that it doesn't import the effects.
Yeah, I thought not. That was what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, I imagine it exporting out, but like with no effects, then it probably doesn't export in. And it
Yeah,
does
and
export in, but it's just missing the effects. Oh gosh.
Yeah, and that includes like the volume controls on each channel.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so there's a lot of work to be done, but it's an excellent start, and I'm really excited.
Me too. Yeah. So thank you everyone. I think that with Tris having to leave soon and it being kind of late where I am, we are ready to close up if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So big shout out to Hormone Replacement Gaming because they're awesome, and also just like I feel like we should get the word out. And also just big shout out to everybody who can make it to the stream. Thank you so much. I had a great time, and I hope you did too.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna
down.
I'm gonna play around with this program tomorrow to try
Oh.
and like, because I feel like it'd be really good to like learn to use it to try and learn like FL Studio and whatnot better too.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
Yeah.
so. I'm pretty used to FL Studio at this point ish. So if you
I'm
want
not.
like, so if you want tips, I'd
feel
love
like
to
it's-
help out.
I feel like it's just one of those things that I've like get elbow deep in just to like try and figure out.
Yeah, I also think it's
Yeah.
less intimidating because it's far more limited than FL Studio.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Even without any additional VSTs, there's like hundreds of instruments that you can choose from. So this is nice because like there's only 4 channels,
Yeah,
and that's it.
it takes a lot of what is it, like self control in order to just like pick up one VST on FL and like focus on that in order to learn it.
Yeah.
It's a lot more appealing to just like get your keyboard and then like go through all of the presets in all of FL Studio
Wait, I can
and just
plug in a
like play a
keyboard and
few
work with
notes on that and be like, "Ooh, that sounds nice. I guess I won't make music now." I
Wait,
definitely
can use a
went through
keyboard
a
with
phase
this,
like that.
like a actual keyboard.
I wish you could. That's another thing. It would be really awesome. I don't know. Maybe you can.
Oh, when you
It's on the
said
back.
a keyboard, I thought you meant. Oh, okay.
On FL Studio, you can.
Yeah, we're talking about FL Studio now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, chiptune can be made on FL Studio.
True.
I've made a little bit of chiptune on FL Studio. It's fun.
You've made a bit of chiptune on FL Studio.
Yeah. And with that,
Roll
Good
credits.
night, everybody.
we're gonna close off the stream. Thank you so much. Top priority. Let's try and get those Patreon names in. We just got our Patreon, and we have 2 patrons. We've got Zero Janitor and 3X Blast, and after this, by next stream, I will most definitely have like their names ready. But for now, verbal shout out. There are gods and goddesses and gender neutral goddies.
Deities.
Goodies.
Gaudy night, everyone.
Goddy
Go
night,
day night.
everyone.
Or actually, it has to pronounce it. Go.
We'll see you next week.
Our gods, goddesses, and games of the year.
Yes.
Yes.
Our Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, how do you pronounce that, of the year?